describe it.
Okay. All right, well, I might return to that after we have a result from that pending case before the courts at a later date. I want to turn now to memorandum of understanding. You mentioned one commissioner, and this seeks to follow up a series of questions asked by Senator Betts at estimates earlier this year, in particular in relation, so I'll just find the right page, to the Chinese National Supervision Commission. I think there was some confusion about which MOU Senator Betts was seeking to ask questions about. So just for clarity, it's the National Supervision Commission. Just confirming that we do have an active MOU with them?
That's correct.
And what is there an end date to that MOU? Does it expire at any point?
It's due to be reviewed in 2023, Senator. 2023,
thank you. It was initiated, as I understand it, in December 2018, which was a different security environment and a different environment in the bilateral relationship between Australia and China. It's moved on somewhat since then. At that time, did the AFP seek the advice of the Department of Foreign Affairs or Trade or others about this particular Chinese counterpart body and how it operates?
Yeah, we always do, Senator.
Is it the AFP's judgment that the National Commission of Supervision is a law enforcement body?
A component of the commission as a I suppose a law enforcement focus.
It certainly has a law enforcement focus, but I'm not sure it is a law enforcement body certainly not in the same way that the AFP is, but not even like some other agencies in China are. I mean, it has a remit which is more to do with Chinese Communist Party members and employees of the Chinese government. And it's not, as I understand it, subject to judicial oversight. For example, it can detain people without charge and there is no legal avenue. That doesn't sound like a law enforcement body to me. Do you agree?
Listen, I think the place in context is our level of engagement under the MOU. It's been very much focused on proceeds of crime.
Proceeds of crime.
In terms of Chinese economic fugitives that are here in Australia, if there's illicit funds come from China into Australia, that in effect is an Australian offence, Senator. So there's an onus and there's an obligation on the AFP to look at those offences. So it's the construct and context that MOU has been focused on sharing intelligence on illicit funds coming into the country.
Has the Commission provided any evidence or intelligence that has led to any convictions in Australia?
No.
Have we provided any intelligence or evidence to them which has led to any convictions in China?
No.
No. So it doesn't sound like it's a particularly active MOU. Would that be fair?
I think I would say one thing, we have made seizures though of assets and cash.
Yep. The reason why I'm interested in this is that in China, corruption is not always what it seems, and certainly enforcement of corruption is not always as it seems. I mean, most analysts would agree that President Xi has effectively used campaigns against corruption to, yes, weed out corruption, but also to weed out political rivals. Is the AFP alive to the fact that intelligence or evidence that might be provided by the Commission to Australia could have a dual purpose of singling out people in the Chinese diaspora who are political dissidents, not criminals?
I think it's fair to say we're very clear-eyed in terms of how we engage on these issues. But again, I go back to the point, Senator, if there's illicit funds that are coming into Australia, that enacts Australian legislation in terms of being a criminal offence, and there is an obligation and onus on us to have a look at that.
This is your last question, Senator.
Okay, and I assume, I'll have some more questions to come back to after this then, Chair. I assume that given that we've suspended our extradition treaty with both China and Hong Kong, no person in Australia has been extradited as a result of any cooperation with this agency?
There's never been a person that's been extradited back to China.
Yeah, good, thank you. Just to confirm that. Thank you. One further question on the MOU matter. I think, Commissioner McCartney, if I remember correctly, you said that in February, it expires in February next year?
It's due to be reviewed in 2023. I haven't got the exact date, but 2023 is for review. So I
might have misheard. I thought you said February, but in any case, it's due to be reviewed next year. Has the AFP formed a view yet on whether it should be extended?
I think that view, no, but obviously that view will take into consideration and consultation with agencies such as DFAT and the Attorney General's Department. I think you've noted, Senator, the change from 2018.
Yeah, indeed, and I'm glad you mentioned that because we are operating in a significantly different security environment, and we have a very different bilateral relationship from only 5 years ago. Will it be ultimately a decision for the AFP, or will it be a decision for government as to whether we should proceed on that?
Well, it's an MOU that's signed by the AFP, but obviously we'll have close consultation with departments in government and take those issues under consideration. But as you say, it's a different environment now.
Thank you.